Okay, let's see how we're doing. See if we're the right way around. Excellent. Right. Let's move you this way a little bit. Right, let's just wait a minute while we wait for people to jump on. Here we are. Hi Amy, first in the door, well done. I nearly didn't make it. I had it all set up and it was working great, and then as soon as I hit live, what happened? Picture went the wrong way round. Hey ho, never mind. We're here now anyway, so I'm just going to have to keep an eye on the battery power from here on in. So where are we? It's Monday, 3rd of July, and it's 8 o'clock. So, yeah, typical Amy. So yeah, here we are for my weekly Facebook Live session. I say weekly, but for the next couple of weeks I won't be here because I'm going on holiday. Yay! I'm really excited about it. One, because it's a holiday and I really need it. And two, because my husband's been away overseas for the last few months, not a few months, 5 to 6 weeks. And we're going to see him. So that'll be really, really nice. It's going to be a couple of weeks together, the three of us just chilling out. Well, not chilling out, we'll be somewhere nice and hot and having lots of fun. So of course going with that has been quite a lot of stress in terms of trying to get everything ready, but I think we're done. I did a marathon session of ironing last night, and now it's just chill, have a nice relaxed evening of crafting this evening with you guys. Oh, hi Anne, good to see you. Yeah, I've got some really nice, what I think are really nice projects planned for this evening, so I hope you like them too. As I say, I can see people are starting to jump on, so if you're there, just leave me a comment so I know you're there. I can say hi. There we are, I'll post it. Amy, you've seen my post-its. Yes, this is what Amy's talking about. These are where I've marked the items in the new catalogue that I'd really like, and I'm a little bit embarrassed and ashamed to say that this is what's left after having done a few orders. So you can imagine how big my wish list was. I hope those of you who've got the catalogue are having the same problem as me, perhaps, maybe. But actually, while I think about it, during July, there's actually a really good promotion coming up. Well, it started now, which is a great way for you to indulge in your wish list. And what it is it's a promotion designed for joining as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Now, before you say, oh no, I couldn't do that, I couldn't do classes, and I couldn't do videos, and I couldn't do this, and I couldn't do that, that's absolutely fine. As Amy is one of my downline, as we call them, and she's been an on-off demonstrator with me for how many years, Amy? Quite a few. But signing up as a demonstrator is a great way to get hold of all of those wonderful things that you like. First of all, you get to choose £130 worth of products for just £99. That in itself is a winner. Once you do that, you get 20% discount on anything you order after that. Brilliant, fantastic. There is a quarterly minimum to make to stay active, but if you don't make that, you just drop, no hassle, no problem. I love to have different kinds of demonstrators on my team, so whether you sign up just for the discount and are a hobby, or whether you want to make a business of it, that's entirely up to you. I'm somewhere in the middle. 3 years, Amy, yeah, that sounds about right. I think she joins up every celebration. So anyway, during July, we're having a special. So in addition to that £130 worth of stuff for £99 and your 20% discount on everything else that you order, I'm just going to get the details for you now. You get for free a starter kit, which includes some snail, a bone folder, paper snips, 2 blocks and a pad of grid paper. Now, anyone who's been to my classes knows grid paper. This is what it is. It's an A3 sheet. You get a whole pad of these, by the way, about 100. They're brilliant for on your work surface. As you can see, I use them for stamping and experimenting. They're great for measuring, and they also protect your lovely work surface. So you get all of those for free on top of what you pick. And as well as that, there's a brand new Christmas, did I say the word? Christmas stamp set coming out, exclusively available to demonstrators in July, so we can start working on it before our lovely customers see it. So you get that stamp set for free. So all in all, you get £195 worth of product for just £99. That's it. So if that sounds attractive to you, or you'd like to find out more, then simply drop me a line, let me know. I'm happy to talk it through with you and tell you exactly what you need to do. Like I say, it's entirely up to you how you run your business, as we call it. You can just order enough to keep you in supplies, or you can hold classes if you've got crafty friends, or you can do as much or as little as you like. So that was it. I was going to talk about that later, but now's a good time to talk about it. Okay. The other thing is, there's another, not one, there's two special offers during July. So the other offer, which is for customers, is for every £45 you spend during July, you will get a voucher for £4.50 to spend on any order during August. So again, if you're not quite ready to make the jump into being a demonstrator, now is a good time to, as I say, gather together and get your bits that you've gotten your eye on, because you'll get yourself money off for your next lot in August. All you need to do is go to my online shop, place your order, and Stampin' Up! Will email you a code, which then you enter in August when you come back to do your August order. So I'll be posting more information on this over the next little while, but that's just to let you know that for now. While we're doing admin, what else do I want to say? Oh yes, for those lovely orders that you're going to place, if you use this host code when you place your order, you'll be prompted to put it in the at the checkout in the online shop. If you use this host code between now and the 31st of July, then I'll send you an extra thank you gift in the post. So again, when I post up this video to Facebook, I'll make sure that this is in the comments so that you can come back and find it. Okay? Anything else? Oh yes, finally, prize draw for this week. So this week I'm giving away this project kit. It's called Simply Sent, and basically it's the materials, the bits, to make 8 note cards and coordinating envelopes. So all you need to do on this is just add a little bit of stamping of your own choice and some adhesive, and there you go. So I'll be giving this away, let me think now, how am I going to do this if I'm on holidays? I'll work it out anyway. So in order to be entered into this draw, what you need to do is either leave a comment, which some of you have done already, so thank you very much. Leave a comment on this Facebook live post, or I really, really appreciate it if you shared it. I'm really enjoying getting to know some new people as I'm finding you and you're finding me through Facebook. It's really great. So I'd love it if you shared it with your friends, and that'll get you 2 entries into the draw. And I'll probably do the drawing, I might do it when I get back from holiday towards the end of this month. So you've got a couple of weeks to comment and share. So if you would do that, that would be great. Thank you. Right, so what else has been going on? This week? Oh yes, last week I took a bit of a step outside my comfort zone. One of the reasons I absolutely love stamping is because I don't have an artistic bone in my body. I cannot draw. I can't do anything freehand. So I absolutely love that with rubber stamping, the image is already done for you. And you can look fantastic and produce really impressive stuff without actually having a great deal of talent. So I love it. But last week, as I say, I took a step outside my comfort zone and I attended a artists workshop event, which was quite intimidating actually, because the other ladies who were there were obviously quite arty and could draw, which I couldn't do. But it was good fun, and I always think it's a good idea to try new stuff. Hi Denise, good to see you, thanks for joining us. And one of the things we did was lino printing. I don't know, have any of you guys ever done lino printing? I've never really heard of it before. So basically I made this, and believe me, right, this was just such a challenge for me, because this is just freehand, totally freehand. I had no idea really what I wanted to do. Didn't really understand the concept. But basically you cut the lines in, and then you ink it up, and then you press it down onto some paper, and it gives you like a reverse line image. So I think there's a little bit more work to be done in terms of my freehand drawing, but hey ho, it's always good to try new things. But yeah, I just thought I'd share with you, I started with one design. It's a bit like my card making, and this was not what I originally had in my mind when I started. But what I had in my mind when I started, I realised very quickly that there was no way I was going to actually be able to execute it on the rubber. So I opted for something much, much simpler. So yeah, that's just me. As I say, it's nice to try and step outside your comfort zone and try new things, and be that a new technique or a new colour or just a new craft. It's great. It's good to keep your brain moving. Right, so on to the fun bit. Let's get on with our crafting. Okay, so I've got 4 projects for you this evening. See, which one shall we start with? Going to start with this one. Now, it would help if I had my stamp set, wouldn't it? Hang on. Okay. So this card uses the Eastern Beauty stamp set. And I know that Amy and a few others of you bought this bundle back in May or June or whatever it was. This and the coordinating dies when it was on offer as a special bundle before the new catalogue launched. And it's one of those sets that it's a bit hard to get to grips with when you first start looking at it. But then once you get going on it, the possibilities are endless. And there's a lot of focus placed on the dies, which I've done. I've done a video which is on YouTube, which is called 5 Fancy Folds, which actually uses this. And I've also did a Facebook Live a few months ago, which was just looking at the Eastern Palace. But I thought I'd do a card that was just about the stamp set and just the stamping itself. So here we are. So let's just get this started. But of course, typically I decided I don't want to make exactly the same card twice. So I'm going to try something a little bit different with this one. So let's just start with our card base first of all. Okay. And then I'm going to swap the colours around a bit. This uses Tranquil Tide and Berry Burst, and I'm going to use Berry Burst and Tranquil Tide. So first thing I'm going to do is just attach my matting layer. This now. Okay, to my card base. Let's get it lined up. Okay. And on my original here, I just stamped. So let me just ink this up for you so I'll show you what I mean. So can you see how well used this has been? So we're going to use this one, and we're going to use this one, and what do I want? I'm going to use this one instead. Okay, so let's just pop these on some blocks. That one, and that one. So I'm going to, now let me see, what am I going to do? Yes, so what I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to stamp the image on my front, like so. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image and run it through the Big Shot, and I'll show you in a second what that produces. Excuse me 1 second. I'll just run it through. There we go. Okay, so here we are. You can see that I've lined this die up inside the stamped image that I've made. And what I'm going to do is just pop this out. There we go. And what it does is it makes these lovely little flaps. Okay, and then when I place it on here, you'll be able to see the pink popping through from underneath. You see that? Okay, but before I do that, I'm going to get really ambitious here and I'm going to do some stamping. So we've got this little image here, which I'm going to stamp on the petals, for want of a better word. So these, you've got lots of little small images that are designed to just build up an image on your... Sorry, I'm just trying to concentrate here. Okay, and then we have that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some lemon lime twist, which is here, and I'm going to create this halo effect just here. Okay, so again, just line it up and just stamp around it. So if you didn't have the dies, you'd simply follow these steps and you just have your stamped image and it'd be absolutely fine. Okay. And last one. There we go. Okay. Now let's see, I want sticky and some bling for the middle. I'm going to take just one of my rhinestones. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to go even bigger. I'm going to get proper bling. I'm going to get one of these. One of our lovely faceted gems. You see, they're much taller. Just going to pop that in the middle, like that. And then we want the greeting, so I'm going to go with the same. So I like these greetings because they're curved, which is just a little bit interesting. So they're great for corners, and also again because the image is curved, it's good for that too. So I'm going to bring back my fresh fig and just stamp my greeting around the corner here, like so. Okay, then I'm going to take my Tranquil Tide ribbon. I'm going to do my usual trick, which is I'm going to layer a piece on and then tie a bow onto it separately. So I'm just going to put a little bit of snail adhesive on the back here, and then we'll just on the side and just line it up. Okay, is that straight? I think so. And then just tie a bow. So this is, I love this ribbon because it's nice and thick, but it still folds nice and flat when you want to make a bow, so you don't end up with lots of bulk on your card, particularly if you're posting them. Okay, so we'll trim that off. Your glue dot, just there you go, on the back, and then pop that on there. Okay, let's bring back in our card base, and then we'll get our liquid glue. line that up. And there we go. So we'll just pop these up a little so you can see them. There we go. Look at that. Fab, isn't it? But there's something else that you could have done instead, which I'm just going to show you very quickly on a piece of scrap. So I could have stamped the same image, green, then taken my fresh fig. So I'm not going to cut out the petals this time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image here and I'm going to cut out the whole thing. So I'll just run this through my Big Shot. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Okay. Oops. So then with that, what you get is just the entire image. And what you could do is just pop that up on a dimensional, just to give you a bit of dimensional, hence the name. But I quite like this one, like that you can see the colour underneath. So there you go. So what do you think? Do you prefer the one with the pink ribbon or the one with the green ribbon? I'd love for these sessions to be interactive with you guys, because that's one of the things I love most about stamping and crafting, is sharing that with other people. So please do let me know what you're thinking. Send me some likes if you like it, and send me some comments to let you know if you prefer one over the other. So there you go. That's our first card. Okay. So let me just clear some of this away. Did you like my photograph from last week of my Craftermath, of where I was just throwing stuff over to the other side off camera? So I'm going to try and stay a little bit tidier today, mainly because I don't want to lose any bits, which is always a risk at the craft table. Right, so that's those. Oops. Let's pop these away. Now, which one shall we look at next? Let's see. This way. Okay, let's try. Seeing as we've been using the Big Shot, let's do one with some green, Amy. I knew you'd like the green. Yep, that's more your colour than the Berry Burst, isn't it? For sure. Right, so the next one we're going to do is this one here, which uses one of our new embossing folders. It's called, this is a bit of a mouthful, I warn you. It's called a Textured Impressions Embossing. No, it's not. It's called a Dynamic Textured Impressions Embossing folder. I told you it was a mouthful. But what it gives you is this beautiful, deep, deep image, which is absolutely gorgeous. But I wanted to just show you how to use this in the Big Shot, because it's a bit different to a normal embossing folder. I'll show you what I mean. This is a normal embossing folder. This, I'm going to put this here so you can see it better. This is a normal embossing folder, and this is our dynamic one. You see how much thicker they are. So what that means is that when you're using it in the Big Shot, I'm going to bring the Big Shot in so I can show you. Normally, when you're embossing, you'd use your base plate without the thin die adapter, a plate, your embossing folder with the cardstock inside, and another cutting plate on top. Okay, that's a normal embossing folder. But for these ones, because they are so thick, you don't need your bottom cutting plate. So what you have is you've got your base plate, your embossing folder with paper inside, and your top cutting plate. Now, for this card, I'm going to change the colour up slightly. So in this one, it's Soft Sky, and I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz for this one. So we'll just pop it in, line it up. Doesn't really matter too much with this particular pattern, but I do like to try and get it straight, and then we just run it through. Okay. And here we are. So what you can see is, I don't know if you can see in the light, but one side is debossed and the other side is embossed. But can you see how thick that pattern is? It's really gorgeous. Okay, so that's just a quick tip about our textured and dynamic embossing folder. So when you're looking in the catalogue, just be aware of which type they are. So when you go to use it in your big shot, you're not struggling because your sandwich won't go through. Right, so this card is just ridiculously easy, So we've got our card base in the same colour, Pear Pizzazz. Okay, and I'm going to layer. I do like doing cards where the layers are both the same colour. I think it gives a nice effect. There we go. Does anybody else find that these go everywhere, get stuck to everything? Usually the bottom of my shoe. I find these and glitter are the worst offenders. Okay, so again we just line this up like so. Okay, then we're going to use the Label Me Pretty stamp set and coordinating punch. Okay, so I'm going to need a scrap of white card for this. Bring in my stamping pad, and I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use this one. And you can see on here, this one is this image here, and I've used that. So I'm going to change up the images a little bit. Why do the same thing twice? So let's try this one. So, and I'm going to do it using black. Okay. Good inking. That's it. Okay. And we take our label punch and line it up. Punch it out. Okay. Then on our other scrap, I'm going to take the You're the Best, which is this one. And again, I'm going to stamp it in black. The embossing image shows up better on the green, Amy. Yeah, that's what I thought, because the Soft Sky is very light. You can't really see it. It tends to work better on the darker ones. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my circle punch and I'm going to just punch out this. Bring back in my image, which I think goes that way. I'm going to dimensional. On here, there we go, pretty, pretty. And then I want dimensionals on the back. Okay, and then for the ribbon, I'm going to use black, but I'm going to just try a slightly different ribbon treatment on this one. So I'm going to do, let's get the, yeah, that's what I want. So, and then, yep, just lining it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of, I'm going to use my snail. I'm just going to put some in the middle here, just to catch my ribbon. There we go. And my label, pop it on there like that. That needs to go love ribbon, but I usually end up fiddling with it. There we go. Look at that. And I think that needs one more thing. Anybody guess what it might be? Going to do a little bit of spritzing. So for this, I'm going to bring in some of that grid paper I was telling you about earlier, just to protect my work surface. And I'm going to take the brush end of my marker, and I'm just going to flick it against the lid of my marker here. So just, can you see that? So it just gives me a little bit of a, there we go. That's it. There we go, just a little bit of extra interest. That's it. So, same exact layout, slightly different colours, slightly different ribbon. Amy, I'm guessing that you probably prefer the green one to the blue one again, but let me know. I quite like both. This one, the colours on this one was inspired by or thought about it from the yours, a whole lot of lovely designer series paper, which has got these kind of colours in it, which is really, really nice. So there we go. That's card number 2. Put that over there. All right. Let's clear up a little bit more again, and let's see what we're going to do next. Right. The next project I have for you is a little bit messy, so as I have this out, let's do this one next. So this one is using sort of like a watercolouring technique with our stamps, and it uses the Oh So Eclectic stamp set. Yep, knew it'd be green, Amy. Oh, right, let's bring some of these in. So the key to this technique is to use watercolour paper. If you try this on normal card, because we need to make the paper quite wet, if you try it on normal cardstock, it just won't work. So it's best to use your watercolour paper. Now there's 3 ways that you can achieve this, excuse me, this kind of bled in look. So I'm just going to show you on some scrap watercolor paper that I've got here. Okay, so you can see the 3 different ways, and then when you're doing it, you can figure out which one you like best. Just 1 second. Just realised that one of the tools critical to this operation I haven't got, but now I do. So first of all, we're going to use this stamp from the Oh So Eclectic stamp set. This stamp set again comes with a die. And as usual with Stampin' Up, when you buy the 2 bundled together, you get a 10% discount. Oh, glad you like it, Anne. Glad you like it. So I'm not going to use the dies for today, but I do have some. In fact, I had a project I wanted to show you, which is this one. I made this for my husband to pop into his bag when he goes back overseas after a holiday, so he can find that. I know it looks like a bit of a girly colour, but actually he likes pink and grey. He's not quite a child of the 80s, but he did the whole 80s pink and grey combination. So what I've got here is basically cut out this image using these 2, and this image using these 2, okay? And then you've also got some little leaves and lots of other bits and bobs. So I'm playing with this at the moment, and I think probably my next Facebook Live, I'll probably have some more projects on this one for you. So put that aside. Right, anyway, back to the watercolouring. So the key to this is water, obviously. So let's grab our stamp. Okay. I'm going to do it in berry burst so that you can see it clearly, okay? So the first thing you can do is take an aqua painter or a paintbrush, make sure it's nice and wet, and then just wet your paper, okay? Make it quite wet, all right? And then ink up your stamp, and then simply stamp it down. And can you see, the wetter the paper, the more of a bleed you get, whereas normally the image that you'd get would be like that. Okay, so I've made my paper really very, very wet, and it's really gone everywhere. If I make it a little less wet down here and stamp again, you see that the bleeding is not quite as pronounced. Okay, so that's one way of achieving that kind of look. The other way, the other two ways are using spritzers. So the first way you can do it, I'll just do it here, is similarly to the aqua painter, is if you spritz your card and then stamp it down. Okay, but I find with the spritzer you get a lot more water, so you've got a little bit less control than you do at the aqua painter, but you can make the ink run. Can you see that? Which is really quite clever. Okay, and then the final way you can do it is to ink up your stamp first, then spritz the stamp. Okay, and then stamp down. So you can see that gives you a different sort of effect, but again it just blurs the image a little bit more for you. Okay, so what I'm going to use for the card is I'm going to use this one here, using the aqua painter, because I think you just get a little bit more control on the amount of water that goes down onto your cardstock. Depending on the image, something with lots of water like this might be what you need. So I'm going to put that to one side, put it away. And as you may have guessed from the colours, I'm going to change the colours up. So this one I've used Pool Party, Peekaboo Peach and Old Olive with the crumb cake and the black. Again, it's very like the Whole Lot of Lovely Designer Series paper that I was telling you about. I love the colours in those, but I just wanted to try a different look, just using exactly the same technique. So for this one, we're going to use, woohoo, how's that for different? We're going to use Berry Burst, Daffodil Delight and Lemon Lime Twist. Okay, so our card base is Daffodil Delight, which we're going to put to one side, and our layering piece at the side here is going to be Berry Burst, so it will look something like that. Okay, if I haven't given dimensions, but if you wanted the dimensions for any of these pieces, then certainly leave me a comment, ask me a question and I'll post them up. I tend to like to focus more on the projects rather than writing out all the different dimensions for everything, but happy to provide them if you want them. Okay, so the ink colours we're going to use are Berry Burst, and I'm going to use Pool Party again, and also Lemon Lime Twist. Okay, so I'm going to wet my paper. Don't want too much, but I want a fair amount of water on there. Okay, and we'll start with the thanks Lou, glad you're liking it. By the way, I would love it if you guys would post pictures or send me pictures of what you've made so I can post them up on the page. I'd love to share them with everybody else, because it's great when people get together and craft together. The inspiration and ideas that happen is brilliant. Okay, so let's stamp it here. Ooh. That's because my stamp wasn't completely clean. Right, so flip that over. Let me just clean my stamp off. Berry Burst is a great colour, but it's very, very intense. So, oh, let me just... Okay, let's try that. Oh, that's much better. Okay, so let's wet the other side of our paper. Got some speckles on here from somewhere else, but that's not too bad. I can actually pick, can you see how I can actually pick some colour up with my aqua painter and the watercolour card? There we go. Right, so let's start again. Pool Party, give it a good ink. Oh, that's much better. Okay, there you go, and put that there. All right, and then we're going to move on to the Berry Burst. You can see that's quite an intense colour, isn't it? You could stamp off first if you wanted, so you could stamp first and then ink it up, but I like the intense colour. can see that it's starting to dry a little, so I'm just going to add a little bit more water. This is what I mean about when I say that when you've got the aqua painter, you've just got a little bit more control. And can you see here, it's dried a little bit, so all I need to do is just go back in with my aqua painter, apply a bit more water, and it will even it up a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to do some leaves, and I'm going to use lemon lime twist for these. Okay, so again, I think this is probably dried a little bit, so I'm just going to add a bit more water in the areas where I'm going to stamp. Okay, so I'll put a bit there, and I don't really mind if stamp this out. I don't really mind if it merges a little bit. Let's put some there. That's it. Put a little bit down here, a little bit here. There we go. Okay, and then the final touch. Let's close these up before I get ink everywhere. Is I'm going to take one of these tiny little stamps here. I'm going to take this image here, I think. Yeah, this one. Okay, and I'm just going to use my black ink. Now this should have dried a little bit by now. I can see that it's still a bit wet there, so I can take some kitchen towel and just, only because I'm impatient, and just gently dab it to take off the excess water that I don't want. And then I'm just going to go in and just use this just to fill in some of those gaps, like so. Okay, and let's pop one there. Don't want to go too mad. There we go. Okay, look at that. Very own designer series paper, and no two, I can guarantee you, no two will ever be the same. All right, so I'm going to leave that to one side for a second to dry a bit while I do the tag. So I'm going to bring back in the label punch that we were using earlier, and I'm going to stamp or punch. Thanks, Anne. I was saying earlier, that's why I love stamps. I can look super artistic without having any artistic ability at all. So it's total cheat, total cheat. Right, so I'm going to pop this out on the berry burst, and then I'm going to bring in a scrap of white, and I'm going to stamp my greeting. Now I'm going to take back the Eastern Palace set that we used right at the very beginning. And I'm going to do, I love this little circle and this little hello, and I'm going to stamp these in Pool Party, I think. In fact, yeah, Pool Party. So we'll take the circle, like so. Okay, and then the hello, which is here. Put that in the middle. Okay, and just like the other one, the other card, I'm going to punch this out. Okay, so we can layer it up on here, like so. So let's get our dimensional. Yeah, and then we'll want some for the back. Okay, so now we should be ready to bring back in our panel, our card base. Okay, so we'll just flip this over, and I'm going to use snare on this. with the watercolor paper, when you're sticking it down, you'll see I'm putting a lot more adhesive on here than I normally would. And the reason for that is that obviously the paper has curled somewhat whilst we've been working on it. So I want it to be nice and flat when I put it on my card. So just going to let's line it up. There we go. And again, rather than rubbing across the actual image itself, because it's still a bit damp, I'm just going to rub across the back. Okay, and then I'm just going to pop some adhesive on the back here. And this card base I've cut an A4 piece in half the long way because I want to tie some ribbon around it. So pop that on there. And then we have this one on here. Now, I had planned to put the yellow on there, or the lemon lime twist, but actually I don't like that on there. I don't think it looks nice. So let's try, yes, I think the black is better, isn't it? So this black shimmer ribbon is just gorgeous. I've nearly finished my first roll of it already. I've just noticed that that's crooked. No, it's not. Okay, so I'm just going to wrap this around and myself some extra. And this time I'm going to tie it on the card. Okay. There we go. Okay, just trim this bit. And trim this bit, because I don't want a big bow. Okay, and then we'll bring back in our greeting. And we'll pop it like that by the side of the ribbon. Now, that's almost done. There's one more thing to do. Now, I'm not sure how well this is going to work because this is still a little bit wet, but we'll give it a go. I'm going to put some Wink of Stella on there. And I'm going to start, be aware that when you put Wink of Stella down, it can pick up the ink. So I'm going to start with the lighter colour, which is the Pool Party. Is that going on? Yeah. Whoop. That was a bit more than I wanted, but never mind. I can spread it around. Okay, there we go, and then I'll put it on the berry burst, just to give it a little bit of extra shimmer. There we go. So let's see, can you see the shimmer on there? Just going to go back over the top one, because there's not that much on there. There we go. Lovely. So there you go. Again, same card, same layout, but look how different it is when you just change up the colours slightly. And you can see the effect is totally different between the two. So there you go. Don't know which one I prefer. I think this one, that one, but I love these colours. So do you know what? I like them both. Right, so that's card number 3. What time are we at? 10 to 9. Right, so we've got time for one more card. Now this, I'm going to take this away because we don't. Oh, we might need it, so I'll leave it here. This one. Now I'm not going to change this one because I like the way, well, I like all of them, but I don't see there's really any other way to make this particular one. You like them both, Amy? Yeah. Yeah, they're just totally different looks, aren't they? But that's the beauty of the colours. Right, so what we're going to use for this one is the Colourful Seasons stamp set, which you saw me using last week when I made the the cherry blossoms. And I think I used it the week before as well, when I did the blue and grey Thinking of You one. I'm having a lot of fun with this one. But I'm not doing the cherry blossoms this time, I'm doing the leaves. So we're going to use this die here, which cuts out this outline, which is gorgeous. And then obviously we're going to use the small stamp. So you got the solid stamp images as well. You've got a solid stamp image that would go behind that if you wanted to, but I've chosen not to do that this time. Okay, so let's get that ready. And then for the greeting here, this comes from the Daisy Delight stamp set. I love this, thank you. I just think it's really gorgeous sentiment on here. It's a nice big size, and I have quite a lot of thank you cards to do, because obviously anyone who orders from me gets a thank you card from me as well as their gift, so I'm always wanting thank you cards. So again, we've got card base A4 cut in half the long way. So here we are here. Okay, let's get my bone folder. Bone folder's disappeared somewhere on the craft table, so I'll have to use my next best thing, which is my thumb. Okay, and then what I've done is I've die cut already the square here out of our copper foil with the stitched shapes frame. It's to give it that lovely edging. And then I've got a layer, a 6x6 square of cream cardstock on top. And I'm going to show you a quick tip for saving your lovely cardstock, is that instead of using another scrap to cut this out, I'm just going to cut it out of the center, because that's going to get hidden, isn't it, by the panel. So if you excuse me, I'm just going to cut this out. Make sure I've got my plates in. So yeah, especially when it comes to foil or glimmer paper or any kind of specialty paper like that, I mean, you know, you don't want to use more than you have to. It's always good to be able to make your supplies go further, isn't it? So this is what we've done. Okay, so that's what it cuts out, and then I'm just going to pop it out of my die with my little tool. Here we go. I think I remember saying last week that I had an idea in my mind for this one using the copper foil. I know it's very summery outside, and this is quite an autumnal kind of card, but I really like it. I couldn't wait till autumn to share it with you, so. Let's bring that a bit closer. There we are. Okay, alright, so now I'm going to put some glue on the back of my cream panel. There we are. And stick it. Thrifty and artistic, and yep, brilliant combination. How to look good on a budget. There we go. So there you go. Okay, you'd never know that we're missing a piece at the back. All right. So now when it comes to sticking this down, sometimes intricate dies can be a bit fiddly to stick. So what we've got, which I think I showed you the other week, are these adhesive sheets.